man, it's been to a guy who never really died, has always been in our minds, in our scary souls, and
Jesus.
brought back to us with a little bit of
Oh,
Jordan Peele. And I don't want to disrespect the young lady. It was, what is it? The director and writer.
oh, Jesus! I
Um,
gotta look this up.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. So
her
I don't
last
want
name
to
is
disrespect.
Dakotas, I believe.
Yeah, yeah, Mr. Dakotas. I don't want to disrespect the sister who brought this up to us. But, ladies and gentlemen, yes, we are talking about
Nia DaCosta.
Candyman.
Nia
There you
DaCosta.
go. She is the director, so I want to give her respect and shout out to her. But yeah, we're going to talk about Candyman. And I mean, let everybody know we are going to start a little bit spoiler free for a second, and then we're going to jump into complete, utter, ridiculous, gross spoilers. So for our
Jen was
spoiler
taken
free
aback
review,
by
just
that.
yeah, no, yeah, yeah, because I know a lot of people in my community are going to want to hear this review. So yeah, yeah. Anyway, Jaren, go ahead. Tell us your thoughts, spoiler free, about Candyman.
Spoiler free thoughts, Candyman. And I know that thanks for softballing me the first spot because I'm going to say what everybody else is thinking. There is a lot of subtext. There's a lot of social commentary that runs under just barely underneath the surface of this movie. If you are here for jump scares and horrors, it is a slow pace and you're not going to get many. But a lot of it will make you think. I enjoyed it for what it was, and it was a lot of great things balanced well.
All right, Jason, spoiler free review of Candyman.
Yeah, I went to mirror what. See what I did there with the Candyman. I'm going to mirror what
Ah,
Aaron said. Yeah, it is dripping with subtext, like WAP sort of dripping. It is all over the place. You had to get up with a mop. It was so dripping with subtext. I love
Richard Pere's
the
going to be
shot
so upset.
design. They did a lot of like really nice long shots of things that are like repeating, like mirrors and things like that. It is, it is such a well crafted movie. Nice, great. I mean, like I thought the pace, even though it was a slow pace, was a lot faster than the original because the original takes like 50 minutes before it gets going, and even then, it's like so. Like, yeah, this movie is definitely not for people who want to think about things, and think
Yeah,
about the state of our country.
I'm just gonna keep it
Especially if you
real.
disagree with some of the things that people have been saying recently. So if you are that person, you're probably not listening to the show. So fuck you anyway. But if you are,
Right.
this is not your movie. And don't try to get me in the comments like, oh, Candyman's political. Get the fuck out of here. It's
Try
all
and get in the comments.
yeah.
We'll respond.
But
Yeah.
yeah, great fucking movie. Great. I don't even like horror movies like that. Great fucking movie.
Um, yeah, I'm just gonna jump right into it and basically, yeah, this everything you said and more, but it's for bougie black people. I'm just gonna let you know if you want
With
some
more than $1,000 in
slasher,
their bank account.
but yeah, you want some slasher, run down the street, just
Titties
like
jiggling.
yeah, 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 like original type of stuff from the original. You're not gonna get this here. It doesn't do jump scares. It isn't like any kind of the traditional what I call black horror that we enjoy. Well, girl, don't go in there. Look at she right behind you. He right behind. Like it ain't one of them. So, but for everybody who likes it's a real cinema, but enjoys
Slasher.
something being told to them or a message or just a clear direction of how this film is going to look, feel, and make you feel about it, um, then yeah, you'll be here for Candyman. But I just don't want them to get up in here and be like, "Oh, Candyman sucked," and then we get that in the community, the new one sucked because he didn't like jump out at her and try to grab her and all. Like stop, stop. Um, so for everybody involved, that is our spoiler-free review. We're going to jump officially into spoilers, dripping with subtext and everything going on. So let's start off with you, Jason. What were your spoiler thoughts of Candyman?
Oh man, I did not know that Anthony, our main character, played by Yahya Abdul Mateen the second,
Mhm.
to get his name, his whole entire name, was the baby from the original. I found out, like I thought about it like 2 seconds before they announced it in the movie, and I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool callback that he's actually the
Mhm.
baby from the original. Um, yeah, like I liked the fact that in this movie they pretty much made Candyman like not just a traditional "I'm gonna get you" ghost, but a kind of a ghost of vengeance. Like, to be honest, nearly every person that died in this movie was white and an asshole. So, like, they were definitely hammering home the message that the generational trauma of people reiterate throughout the years, even to this day, and that honestly, a lot of it's due to white supremacy and like the legacy of that and to a racist system. And it was great and it was refreshing to see. And as they were murdered brutally in clever shot wise ways, I was like completely engrossed and enjoyed it. And even though it was in the trailer when his mom claps, it does that. Like I felt
Mm-hmm.
that. Like I
Yeah,
felt
yeah.
that. Like that is something that any female relative would do when you're about to say something that you're not supposed to. And it was,
Mm-hmm.
oh man, this
I
is.
gotta say this. I already talked to Jason about it, but Jason never.
I already talked to Jason about it, but Jason,
Yeah, yeah. His mom. I didn't understand it was his mom at first. She looks young as hell. I thought I was like, oh, do you have a side
black
piece
don't
or
crack,
something?
man.
Oh yeah, but I mean, but this is like, I mean, we
Black
looked
don't
up how
crack. That
old she
lady,
is.
85 years old.
Yeah, we looked how old she was.
Yeah.
She looks amazing in this.
Yeah,
It,
58 years
it
old.
took me
Vanessa
context.
Williams.
Yeah, it took me
Yeah.
context clues to figure out that she was the mom. I was like, man, this apartment looks dingy and gross as hell. And yeah, I like the way she had her hair and her outfit. I was like, oh, she's supposed to be older. I guess they couldn't cast. They couldn't
No,
find an old
it's the
lady.
same lady from 92.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
looking like
Yeah.
she's still in '92.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
yeah,
so great. Black don't crack.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
I kind of
Yeah,
felt
go ahead.
sorry that his path was to become Candyman at the end of this, but it was kind of pretty much the story of black life in America. It's like you gonna get killed by the cops, and they're gonna try to cover that shit up. And it's like,
Okay. All
and
right.
I was like, I was hoping there was a way for him to get out of it, but like, I kind of understand like why he was just like, okay, this is the way we're going with this. And
mm,
there was no escaping this because there's no escaping the uh consequences of the past. I mean, I haven't escaped it. I don't know, Jason, I don't know your life, but I know probably I could just guess that you haven't escaped. It's just not a thing
mhm.
that we have yet to succeed on. So this is kind of like this movie is definitely has uh wrote that into the narrative of the story that you cannot escape the consequences of the past. So but I loved it.
Yes. 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 Yeah. I mean, I'm going, and we'll let uh, Jaren go ahead and back clean up on this one.
You want me to wrap this
Yeah, I
up?
was telling. Yeah.
So Jaron, what do you
Now,
think?
right. 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 Uh, so I was like, first one, I was talking to Jaren about it, I'm like, well, first I left the theater. I text you guys. It was like this Candyman. Wow. Like, and exclamation points and all that. And so,
Which was
Which is a
like
unusual.
glowing recommendation from Jason.
Yeah.
yeah, like if which like Jason and Duke Nurse even said, like it's so much subtext that when Jaren told me, oh, he felt it was a little bit slow in parts, I almost was about to argue with him, but then I had to sit back and think about it. Like, it was, but I was so engrossed in everything that was in the movie that it really just didn't even click into me. This is a slow burn. Um, they do the easy softballs out to us early. Oh, gentrification. Oh, this is what happens. And I'm thinking, okay, I know from the original one, that was what the original script for the original Candyman was supposed to be completely about. But studios got involved and the Candyman thing became something else. So to hear it in this one, I was like, oh, okay, well, they're probably going to hit on what the original one should have hit on. And okay, I could be here for a gentrification story. All right, let's just see if it's scary. But then as the movie kept going on, there was certain things that were being said by this black cast and these black people and how they were being treated by white people in the films and just a combination of stuff going on. And even to like it's probably one of the first horror movies to even take in like almost the quasi bougie or close to bougie or black millennial person because we
Yeah.
don't see that character. He's usually you're struggling real bad or you'd have made it rich. And it was like, nah, this is just like, hey, we doing all right out here in these streets. Like they could have been anybody we seen or met in the city and kind of had those kind of jobs and worked that kind of way. So we get to that point, we get to just that whole bougie kind of atmosphere and feel, but you get from just the things in the paintings, his previous paintings with the noose looking like, like a tie signifying, corporate America's, lynch around you, and you got all the people grabbing for the tie, like, so kind of even that corporatism kind of attitude going into Black America because the hands were black and brown. So that was interesting in the back. Doing the whole thing, like you said, the trauma thing being passed down. A lot of people think a lot of our trauma is passed down genetically as well. So even that had an overtone in the movie that the genetic trauma being brought down, etc. Um, his work of art not even being noticed or cared about till trauma was associated with blackness was a very poignant, thing. His response to calling her out, to basically saying like, "Hey, you artists slum it out so you make it big," and like it's like, no, this guy lives this. He's not slumming it out. This is what the world has given him, and he's choosing to make a canvas of. Like it had to be trauma associated. But even I'm gonna let you go, Jason. But just to juxtapose that, you had the black woman putting off the show that was trying to benefit off the girl's trauma. Like it was almost like you get the right appraisal if it's black trauma involved, and we hate that. But yet, when we as black people profit off each other's trauma, we feel like it should be okay, and it shouldn't be. And so it just was a lot of stuff going on in there that I just yeah, I tip my hat to it. I definitely tip my hat to this one. But I know Jason, you wanted to go and say something.
Oh, that just reminds me of the scene when he was talking to the art director guy and about his work, and he was explaining to, oh, I'm going to do pieces based on this one. He's like, no, that's too you know gauche or too that's already been overplayed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like even his trauma is a commodity to these people, and he has to
Yep.
even find even deeper things to go about just so he can be a commodity to people. And it goes all towards this capitalist idea that we have to sell our stories in order to just be heard. And it's like even with his girlfriend, like, oh, the black lady was telling me, oh, you have such an interesting story, and it's like about her father committed suicide in front of her. She watched two of her friends. She found two of her friends' dead bodies that were hacked to death, and no one
Right.
cares unless it's able to be commodified. And that's the world we live in, and it's just so. It was just so engaging to see that basically, set out plain to people who could hear it.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
So
Jared.
Jaron, go ahead. Back clean up.
Oh, this is easy peasy. I agree with everything that's been said here already.
Hey, he's learning.
I have no conflicting opinion.
Nope, none whatsoever. And I don't have anything to add. I think everything was said as best as it possibly could be. No, I enjoyed it. And yeah, there were points that after I talked about it with Jason, he was like, there were aspects of it that were heavily kind of nested in the subtext. And when you were experiencing it being kind of a slow burn, that may have been a scenario where my mind was racing, but yours was watching scenery for clues as to whether or not this guy was going to, pop out of a corner or whatever. So yeah, in those two different, same movie, different experiences. Yes, as soon as he started talking about it, I was like, he was pointing out very specific things. I was thinking about it. I was like, yeah, I could map that out. And then my mind would have been more engaged during those points. But yeah, brilliant movie. A deeper movie, definitely not for if you're just going to watch some half naked, co-ed run down a street bloody, and then have something come after him that goes bump in the night. This isn't it for you. There's a lot more to this. So
I also love the use of when they show the Candyman, like he was always like in a mirror. He was always like out of focus. And it was this is why I don't fuck with mirrors. I don't have no mirrors in my house unless it's in the bathroom.
I mean, like when those kids got killed in the school bathroom, and the girl,
Yeah,
the mirror dropped underneath the
the little
stall.
compact and
Yeah, the compact,
so
and then the one bee lands in it and just drips into the other reality and flies off differently. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
yeah, so cool. So such an interesting way to shoot that goes to the theme of things, and it's just so cool. Yeah, don't fuck with mirrors. I don't play with mirrors.
And I would say that should be, to be full on. So we're not completely not being hacks, but Jaron did bring up an interesting thing that could be looked at as a slight or negative about the kind of twist it takes. Like the guy to pull that off needed so much to happen right and fall into place to try to pull off the next Candyman thing. it almost feels like, how did that even become a thing? Because it like a lot had to fall into place.
Our boy in the laundromat, his plan was really fucking dependent on a lot of big fucking ifs, like a lot that he had no control over.
I would assume that
I didn't mean to interrupt.
he
you.
wasn't planning on anything. He just it was going to happen regardless of what he was doing. I think, in my mind. But
he needed to go get himself a witness for some reason, and then when she dipped out,
because you need someone to tell about Candyman. Though also really cool was when she stabbed that dude in the face and she just continued to fucking stab him. You never see that in horror movies.
I love it. I loved it.
Knocked him down. Now I'm gonna run away, and the guy always gets up. It's like, no, finish that motherfucker.
yeah.
That and her at the top of the stairs going, nope.
Yeah. Straight sister move on that one. Like, nope.
For all you
not
people
getting
out
me
there,
with that one.
In a situation of self-defense and you knock the person out, just go ahead,
double tap.
Yep, kill him.
Yep, absolutely. But again, like I said, it's
so they can't follow.
Does have a lot of nuance in it. So if you're not here for that, you probably don't see it. But again, I will tell you this, Black folks, I will tell you this, and we watch a lot of stuff that pulls on our trauma, and it's reality-based, real life that we got to experience. I'm at least going to support the one that's more in the ilk that I like. That is, it's talking about our trauma, but at least it's a dude with a hook at the end, killing a bunch of white folks. right. Like, give me that. If you're gonna give me, if you're gonna put my trauma on display, give me supernatural beings taking out my trauma, one white cracker at a time. And I love my white people, but you know the ones that aren't good, those take them out. So look, that's just how I feel.
No more
about
12 Years a Slave. No more Hook. Give me Candyman, and I will be okay.
100%. All right, Jason, number 8. What are you giving it?
5.1. Even though the scale goes to 5.
Look, I'm here, man. I give it a 5.2. Go check it out. It's fun. It's interesting. It's just an enjoyable flick. Well made and enjoyable flick. 5 it is.
What do you give it,
Jared?
4. Give it a 4. Right. There are some things that I miss, and it's because I need to kind of educate myself a little bit and go back to it. And so until then, it's 4.
Read a fucking book.
I read books. It's not my job to be okay, but